I'm a film TV editor, and I started my career doing all kinds of corporate and online content work, and also at the same time doing all kinds of short films as well. And it was very difficult trying to get into the TV and film industry because without any connection to the industry. Because I went to film school, but all my colleagues from film school were also struggling at the same time, and the school at the time didn't have the connections as they do now, or the connection that really needed to start up a career properly. And so I had a real struggle at the time. And so I got into feature films because it's back in the days when we were all shooting on Canon 5Ds, and my friends and I we made the feature films, and it turned out to be quite good. So one film led to another, so I was working on multiple indie feature films, and eventually I managed to get in working as an assistant editor in a TV show, a drama. And so then again, like it's always the same thing. Once you have one credit, that allows you to get another job and then another job. And so after a few years, now I'm editing for TV, scripted TV. I was actually doing a psychology degree at uni, and then one night I just kind of woke up thinking that, oh, I think I can become a screenwriter. And then I probably because like I watched some films that were really badly written and thinking I can do better than that. And so and for my degree I went to film school for a year to get the training necessary to hopefully to get into the industry. And that was the motivation for me to get in the industry. But then that's what like the point where I realized actually I've always been watching films like my entire life since like a little kid, when my parents would be out working and left me at home, and I'll just be watching TV, watching films on the TV all the time. And often I find people from my background who don't have that experience thinking that we are welcome in the industry, or we can see people who look like me who are making films. You don't think that that's a career path that you can take. And so it's still kind of at the moment it's still kind of daunting to me that I can actually work in the industry, thinking that wow, like there's people who look like me who are doing this job that I actually love doing. And so it's so important. That's why it's so important to have representations on screen that you can see, who, as well as people who are in front of the camera, as well as people behind the scenes, so that more people feel like they are welcome in the industry that they love, they have passion for. And so, bringing back, it's how that's why I don't feel like there's any particular film or TV that I'm inspired to inspiring me to into the industry, because I feel like I've lived my whole life within the medium. I just didn't realize there was an option for me to become a part of it. If I could go back in time, like with a time machine, and talk to my younger self, I would probably go like so far back, like even early on, telling myself that, oh yeah, you can start making films, or even like just doing animations or doing stop motions type things. Because back in the days we didn't have cell phones or smartphones to shoot stuff, and so it was a lot harder to make films and a lot more expensive. But at least there is an understanding of the potential, what storytelling I can do, and also what kind of medium I can be using. And so I would definitely, back in the days, I went to film school like in the early 2000s, and even then people were still shooting on films, and video cameras were not as accessible, but it's a little bit better. You can buy commercial cameras, and so I would have definitely made a lot more short films and learn a lot more about the craft, then like now it's so different where I see young people are constantly making videos on YouTube, on TikTok, and you can see the diversity on those platforms. It's so much wider, broader compared to the mainstream media, because the structure within the mainstream media is still very rigid. But where these new platforms, they've democratized the diversity, allowing everyone to welcome to make content. And so I think the future is so much brighter, where I can see everyone will be represented and everyone can contribute into the industry. All it takes is that the mainstream media to learn that they have to adapt to that, and because the audience has changed, and so the content creators, the broadcasters, the networks also have to change. I think it's only a matter of time where the people right now who are coming up the ladder will become the execs, the commissioners, and so then we'll be able to commission much more interesting, broader, diverse stories, and hire more diverse filmmakers and showrunners to create more interesting shows. And then the audience will finally be drawn back to those platforms, from BBCs to Channel 4, and so they will no longer be such a divide between the online platforms to these old establishments. I get my inspirations for my creativity from everywhere, because I think I need to learn and be inspired and constantly push myself from all kinds of medium. So that's why I'm on TikTok all the time at the moment, because there's so many new stuff that is being created, and that it's because it's a new platform. There's lots of new content creators in there, and they are pushing the boundaries where traditional mediums no longer can catch up with. And so watching new creative ideas inspires me. And obviously it's important to understand the history of the industry, and always going back to learning how initial ideas or creativities were spawned. But it's so important to connect the new and the old, and then find ways to inspire yourself to be creative and constantly think outside the box. And so I think everybody needs to constantly keep catching up with the new medium, and so don't always feel too complacent and comfortable and saying that, okay, I'm used to watching one thing and then that's it, and I'm not willing to learn new crafts.